A veure, jo crec que és un animal competitiu, el Toni.
Well, sadly, we need to get used to this. Legends of the beautiful game saying their final goodbyes to their respective clubs. This season were mainly the Germans in the headlines about this topic, Jürgen Klopp, Marco Reus, and most notably Toni Kroos, who is completely retiring as a player while playing at the highest level, which is a pretty unusual thing to happen nowadays. After playing around 15 years at the highest level, Toni Kroos has hung his boots, and it seems like he is at the peak of his powers after winning his 6th Champions League, even though he is 34 years old, as he is one of the favorites for the Ballon d'Or, which didn't happen before in his career. So how was he able to do this, to constantly improve and not fall off the ladder of the top midfielders in the world? Well, in this video we will unpack this incredible topic and give you some ridiculous facts on the way. Kroos grew up in one of the smaller cities in Germany, Greifswald, where he started to play for his hometown club with his brother Felix, and their coach was their father, Roland. His father used to play there in the same club, and his mother, Birgit, was a badminton player and played in the national team, so Toni had a pretty solid athletic foundation for his career. One of the unnoticeably important parts of his early career is his brother Felix. Kroos and Kroos were always competitively playing against one another. They started first of all in badminton, but I can't imagine Toni being a badminton legend, so they changed the shuttle for the football. They moved then together to Hansa Rostock, later on a team in the first division at the time, and afterwards Toni moved to the famous Bayern Munich at the age of 16. Generally, in his youth career he was obviously a monster, probably a generational monster if I can say so.
Beispiel war vor dem Spiel Toni Kroos. So ein Spieler, sowas hat es bei Bayern seit 20 Jahren nicht gegeben. So einen guten Spieler. Und den setze ich einfach ein. Ob er 17 ist oder 18 ist oder 30 ist, der muss immer spielen.
And a very important part is that he collected a lot of tournament experience in his youth as he played finals like the German Cup and League finals. He went really far in the under-17 Euros, and he was 3rd place with Germany in the U17 World Cup, where he was the captain and casually won the golden ball of that World Cup. So he definitely established a winning mentality early on. I mean, overall, it is not that complicated with the youth careers of world-class players. Just imagine the classic Maradona highlights. That sums up pretty much what they were doing in their youth matches. A 17-year-old Toni Kroos became the youngest player ever to play for the senior squad of Bayern at the time, and couldn't have had a better start as he assisted Miroslav Klose twice within 18 minutes in the Bundesliga. Now, outside of the Bundesliga, I guess the fans could have noticed that he was destined for Champions League greatness from his debut against Red Star Belgrade. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. 81st minute, Kroos gets subbed on as the result is 2-1 for Red Star. 86th minute, Kroos assists Klose for the equalizer. 90 plus, Kroos scores the winning goal. It is just what he does. Now, did you know this happened? Arturo Vidal and Toni playing together in Leverkusen. I know about Vidal, but am I the only one who didn't know Toni played at Leverkusen? I guess something got deleted in my memory, probably. Well, I should know about it because he was phenomenal with Leverkusen. After his 2nd season in Munich, he was loaned there where his trainer was Jupp Heynckes, so that's where the bromance already started. And since it doesn't really make sense to compare him to forwards, let's look at the most goal contributions by players that didn't play in an attacking position in the 2009-10 season. No one wasn't even close to the 21-year-old. Well, after that season he came back to the almighty Bayern, and Jupp Heynckes followed him the season after, continuing the bromance. Already in that season, Kroos played his first of 6 Champions League finals, but let me surprise you, he somehow lost it, which is fascinating for Toni. Drogba scored a late winner and Chelsea won it eventually in penalties, but don't worry, Bayern were back 1 year later but without Toni because of a muscle injury, yet being obviously an important part. And even though he missed around 30% of the playing time in the Champions League in those 2 seasons, Toni Kroos was still the most dominant non-forward in the terms of goal contributions. Again, by far. Don't forget that at the time he could have been still playing in an under-23 squad. Besides that, he obviously won all the possible German trophies, so let's quickly recap his achievements before even leaving Germany. U17 World Cup Golden Ball, 1 Club World Cup, 3 times German League and Cup champion, 1 German Super Cup, 1 UEFA Super Cup, and last but not least the Champions League. Well, a lot of people would already call it quit after all of this, but Toni Kroos was somehow not satisfied, so he went on to Real Madrid. But wait, we are missing probably the most important part of his career here. Copa do Mundo 2014, the bazooka, the panini stickers, and the pure nostalgia. Do you know who ended up being the champions of that World Cup? It is Germany. Everyone already knows that. But let's quickly analyze this man's impact on that legendary Germany squad that still haunts the Brazilians. Well, he was the third best goal contributor in that tournament, sharing his place with Arjen Robben. And something pretty stereotypical for Toni Kroos, he had the best accurate passing percentage of all of them. But if you start with the arguments that he only passed back and to the sides, well, Kroos has the most passes into the final third in the UCL since detailed data has been collected, and he is the most successful with them. So to make this argument makes the least sense for Kroos. The Casual Performance Index, which was the official statistical analyzer for that World Cup, gave Kroos a rating of 9.8 out of 10, which smoothly put him in the first place, and by winning 5 trophies that year, he became the IFFHS Best Playmaker Award, and 2014 is probably considered as the best year of Toni Kroos. In that famous semi-final in 2014, Kroos had 3 goal contributions, which means he really added a lot of salt to the wound, turning a 4-1 to a 7-1 game. He really enjoyed this game, and on New Year's Eve 2017 he still didn't forget it. In the final, he gave the pass to the assistant Schöller that played that beautiful cross to Götze, but for the sake of the story, let's act like Kroos' part was important here. I would say that one of the most impressive players in that World Cup was undoubtedly Toni Kroos, and that made Real Madrid buy the midfielder for 25 million euros. To show you how good of a job Real Madrid did with this, I'm gonna compare this transfer to some transfers in recent years. 5 of these is the same as one of these, 7 of these is the same as one of these, and 6.5 of these is the same as one of these. I think enough is said. According to Wikipedia, his hometown club got 60,000 euros from this transfer, which is a ridiculous sum of money for a lower tier club. Now, even though he already won 2 trophies in his first 5 games and was phenomenal as usual, the same cannot be said for Real Madrid the following season, as the biggest rival won the treble. But, well, after that, Zinedine Zidane was appointed as the new manager of Real Madrid, and in that season, he won the Champions League. And after that season, he won the Champions League. And after that season, you guessed it, he won the Champions League. With these 3 Champions League trophies, Toni Kroos became the first German ever to win the Champions League 4 times. So after doing all of this, he won his 5th Club World Cup and became the first player in football's history to do that. By the way, he still holds the record of most Club World Cups. Literally. He's the only thing, if I can say so, to have 6 Club World Cups. No other club in the world has won that much. After those 3 historical seasons, there was a big downfall in the next 3 seasons. They only won a La Liga and Super Copa de España, which is for the standards of Real Madrid really bad, because they also left the Champions League twice in the round of 16 and in the 3rd season in the semi-finals. So everyone started to doubt Real Madrid, making memes about them and so on. Even though Toni Kroos was still playing really well, it wasn't the Toni Kroos that we all knew. So he decided to get those gears up, and boy, that 2021-22 Champions League campaign from Real Madrid was something remarkable. Comeback after comeback after comeback, and it was every time in the last minutes of the game. In every knockout match in the 85th minute, I thought always, well damn, they are not coming back from this. And in the 95th minute, I thought, well damn, they really did come back from this. And obviously Kroos being one of the key pieces again, even though his main role started to be the role model for the new midfielders in the club. And this season, he was supposed to have the same roles as Modric. To be exact, he was supposed to come from the bench, help the team out in the last parts of the game, be an important part in the training and so on. As I said, be the mentor for the new generation of midfielders. But he has just a little bit less playing time than Jude Bellingham and more than Tchouaméni and Camavinga, so big props to Toni. With doing all of this at the age of 34, he is definitely a Ballon d'Or contender after winning that epic showdown versus Dortmund in Wembley. Now, it all comes down to the Euros. The competition is really heavy, but I'm going to analyze that in another video. Instead of joining a so-called retirement league now, he really left his playing career as the 2nd best rated player in La Liga. I think it was enough said. Well, nah, I've just got one more thing. After the 2014 World Cup, he got the nickname Garçon, or the waiter, because of his precise passes, and they weren't wrong. During his complete Champions League career, he averaged easily over 90% in pass conversion rate. And in every La Liga season in which he played, he never had a pass conversion rate under 92%. All this while having the most accurate passes into the final third. Best German midfielder of all time.